Today, we're unpacking the story of a brand you've definitely seen, you probably own, but whose origin story might just blow your mind. We're talking about Maybelline and how a homemade mix of, yes, coal dust and Vaseline built a global beauty empire. Let's get right into it. So, it all starts with a pretty wild question. How on earth did a kitchen mishap, something involving burnt cork and good old Vaseline, somehow morph into the #1 makeup brand on the entire planet? Well, that's the story of Maybelline, New York, and it is a fascinating one. All right, let's rewind the clock. We're going all the way back to the beginning, to this accidental invention that, and this is no exaggeration, literally changed the face of cosmetics. You know, the name itself is basically the entire origin story. Picture this. It's 1915, and a young chemist named Thomas Lyle Williams sees his sister, Mabel, trying to fix her eyelashes after singeing them on a stove fire. Her solution? A simple but kind of brilliant mix of Vaseline and coal dust. He saw an opportunity, refined that formula, and mashed up his sister's name, Mabel, with Vaseline. And boom, Maybelline was born. And the growth from there, it was just explosive. I mean, they started with a tiny $500 loan as a mail order business. Just 2 years later, they launched the first ever modern mascara for daily use. That one product put them on a rocket ship, leading to the family selling the company for a fortune in '67. And then, in 1996, it becomes a crown jewel for L'Oreal, the biggest cosmetics group in the world. What a journey. And that acquisition by L'Oreal, well, that was a total game changer. It catapulted Maybelline into a whole other stratosphere. So let's take a look at the sheer scale of this modern-day empire. Okay, just let this number sink in for a second. Over 600 million Maybelline products are sold every single year. That's more than double its closest competitor in the mass market. The scale is it's mind-boggling. So, how do they pull this off? This table really tells the story. They lead the market in 3/4 of all global regions. To do that, they have a portfolio of over 1,000 shades, which is crucial for inclusivity, and they keep it affordable, usually between $7 and $12. So there it is. That's the secret sauce. Global reach, powered by accessibility, inclusivity, and of course, the massive backing of L'Oreal. But here's the big question, right? How does a brand that's over 100 years old not just survive, but totally dominate in the age of TikTok and viral trends? Well, that's where their very modern playbook comes in. It all starts with the products. On one side, you've got the absolute icon, Great Lash Mascara from 1971. That famous pink and green tube, they still sell one every 3 seconds. Then, on the other side, you've got its modern heir, the viral Sky High Mascara. It's the volume king for Gen Z, with a totally new bamboo-infused formula. This just proves they know how to honor their legacy while pushing forward. And trust me, they are not a one-trick pony. Just look at their Fit Me franchise. You've got the top-selling matte poreless foundation that actually uses perlite minerals to absorb oil. Then there's the Instant Age Rewind Concealer, which has been voted the #1 under-eye savior. And the Superstay line? It has an almost unbelievable 30-hour wear time. You see the pattern? Each one uses smart tech to solve a real problem for real people. They also crush it online. By teaming up with platforms like Pinterest and tapping into trends like corpcore, that modern office look, they managed to get a return on their ad spend that was double the industry average. And get this, half of those sales came from brand new customers. It proves they can still capture a whole new generation. Okay, so we know they've got the global game and the digital game on lock. But what does that actually look like on the ground, say in a super competitive market? To figure that out, let's zoom in on their amazing success story in India. Their success in India really boils down to this brilliant 3-step strategy they call Glocal. First, they keep that cool, aspirational New York City vibe. Second, and this is key, they tailor everything, formulas, shades, you name it, for local needs and the climate. And third, they make sure it's priced right and you can find it just about anywhere. And you might be asking, does this Glocal thing actually work? Oh yeah, it works. When they launched their Colossal Kajal, which is a smudge-proof eyeliner designed specifically for the Indian climate and culture, it snatched up nearly 10% of the entire market share in its category, almost overnight. It was an absolute masterclass in localization. They're also super smart about who tells their story. They've evolved from using mainstream Bollywood stars to partnering with a new generation of ambassadors like Suhana Khan and Kiara Advani. These women represent a more modern, identity-driven idea of beauty, where makeup is all about expressing yourself, not just changing how you look. But look, in this day and age, being the biggest isn't enough. For a brand with this much history to really thrive, it has to stand for something more. And this is an area where Maybelline has invested big time. They're really tackling this with a two-pronged approach. On one hand, you have Brave Together, which is their social impact program that's focused on mental health. And on the other, you have Conscious Together, their ambitious plan to seriously reduce their environmental footprint. And this isn't just marketing fluff. The impact is real. Their Brave Together program, which works to destigmatize anxiety and depression, has already given one-on-one support to 2.6 million people globally, and their goal is to reach 10 million. And on the environmental side, their goals are just as massive. By 2030, they're shooting for 100% recycled plastic for packaging, 100% renewable energy in their factories, 95% bio-based ingredients in their formulas, and a huge expansion of their product take-back programs. The main takeaway here is that they are building sustainability into every single part of their business, from how a product is made to how it's thrown away. Which really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? In today's world, which is just packed with cool indie brands and a huge demand for clean beauty, can a giant like Maybelline, a company born over a century ago from coal dust and Vaseline, really keep that personal touch and continue to innovate for the next generation? That, right there, is the challenge they face now.